Hello, it's Angela, and today I'd like to share with you this project that I've made for Pearlywinks. Pearlywinks have a show coming up soon on TV. It will be on Hochanda, and it's going to be on Sunday the 31st of May, so that's this Sunday coming, and it should be airing at 3 p.m. If there's a change, I'll pop a little note on my page, but at the moment I believe it's 3 p.m. on Sunday the 31st, and that's on Hochanda. Right, well, what's coming up on the show is a brand new stamp set. Well, there's a couple of stamp sets, and I believe there's a stencil too. I've been working with this one, which is a Mandala Mixed Media, some pretty mandala shapes and some sentiments, and I've created this piece here. It's a bit shiny in the light because I've heat embossed. Now, I created this on a canvas board, which is one of these. I can't remember if these are clarity boards actually. They're already prepped with gesso, but you can prep your own canvas if you want. Excuse my hands, they're a little bit inky. I'm living the dream. But these are the canvas boards, and what I did with those is I created a base layer. I've used the Candy Shop chalk ink in Parma Violet. It's quite a pale pastel-y colour, and I thought that made a nice base for the other inks to go on. And you can't really see under there, I guess, but I've also splashed it with some of the vibes. I've got purples in there and hot pinks, and just really created a textured kind of background with colour. When that was dry, I used a heat tool on it just to make sure it was totally dry before I started to go over the top. And I stamped some of the mandala stamps. Excuse mine, are a bit inky now. Stamped some of these. Now I used archival ink because that's a good waterproof permanent ink, and I like to use the black for some images, but also this one called Thistle, which is really nice. It's like a plum purple colour, and I just thought that added, it's not as harsh as the black, but it adds a good texture for the background. So we've used the Ranger Archivals on there. Right, what came next? Let's see. Oh yes, texture paste. Don't know if you know, but if you've been watching the shows, you'll know that Pearlywinks have some texturing paste in lots of bright colours. For this one, I've chosen to work with the bubblegum pink, pistachio green, and I think that one's called pineapple, is it? Yep, there they are. So these are the ooh, look at that. Delicious. It looks delicious. Don't eat it. I've put this on, and what I used is just a generic stencil with just some circles. You could use sequin trim. I quite often use the sequin waste and pop the paste through it, just to give some random texture for the background. And I let that dry naturally overnight. You only need a little scraper. If you haven't got a scraper, just use piece of strong card or an old credit card or something, just so that you can scrape it through. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're looking for the textured distress look. Right, so when that was done, I actually left it overnight just to make sure it was dry, really. And then I stamped the mandalas onto watercolour card, I think it was. Yes, watercolour card. Now I stamped them in archival again because it's waterproof, and I used the black. Now I coloured these just roughly for that watercolour sort of wishy-washy effect. Didn't go precise. You can go precise if you want to use marker pens or spend a bit more time on it. I wanted to give the impression that the whole piece is quite organic and it's textured and distressed. So what I used for this is some of these inks, a little bit more concentrated, and these ones are Winky Inkies. Of course I used the purple, the blue, and the pink. They're a little bit more textured, so a bit more concentrated, so I popped them in a paint palette and applied them with a brush, splashed on with water, and then splashed other inks on there. The greens, I didn't have a Winky Ink in green, so I actually went over and used one of the normal vibes, so you can see that it does work with the normal vibes as well. But if you're wanting a more intense colour with not so much water involved, then the Winky Inkies are fine. You can dilute as you wish. So stamped those and I cut them out, and then I thought we'd make them nice and glossy and more substantial. So I heat embossed and just in like a Versamark clear embossing powder, using the Ranger. So we used Versamark ink pad, then sprinkled with embossing powder and heat embossed with a heat tool. I did that 2 or 3 times on the large one and a couple of times on the other, just to make sure it was all covered, and it also builds up a nice layer. When that was done, I sort of arranged them on here. Now I used a hot glue gun to help attach, because going onto a canvas background, you don't really want to be using foam pads really, they will dry out and then your piece will fall to bits. So really, if you can, use something a bit more substantial, a bit stronger. Hot glue gun's great. So I did that, and then I embellished with the gems. Oh, these here, these stamps, let's see. These ones here, for the sentiments. We have a round mandala and it has a space inside, and we have all these sentiments to go in. We have live, laugh and love, believe and inspire, keep smiling, which is what I chose here, and make today count, because we should all do that. This one says you're amazing or beautiful, so again you could choose what you want to go in there. But I think these are really good because you can mix and match, so you can suit any occasion. So really that's about it, apart from my signature purple trim there and some gems. Alright, so if you've got any questions, feel free to ask, but don't forget to tune in to the show on Hochanda on Sunday, 31st of May, and it'll be 3 PM. Hopefully you'll see my project there too. Thank you, bye bye.